The thing that you always hear when you go into another season and people say, if you liked season one, then you'll love season two, there's more twists, there's more. Actually, I'm sorry to say, is true with this.
I don't think season one team will appreciate it if I say this is bigger and this is bigger and better than season one, but it is.
I don't know if I can trust you again, Jen. You're going to be such a good mum.
Action!
Season one existed as an entire story, and they found a really, really good way to continue that story, but also to continue that feeling of it being a thriller, the tension, high stakes.
You know, season two kicks off, it's a roller coaster. Jack gets out, and then he's on the hunt for Tasha.
Unique position that Jack's in compared to Jen and Tasha is that he's had the past few years in a room on his own. So whether it's in the hospital bed recovering or in a prison cell, it's just been him thinking about what he's done and thinking about what he wants to do when he gets out. Whereas the girls, they've had the chance to explore and try and find their new life, whether it's a good life like Jen's or a hard life like Tasha's. They've been moving forwards. Whereas Jack has been on pause for 3 years, thinking. You know, I really hope that wherever she is, she's managed to find some peace.
So where we find her in season two is she has escaped that marriage via deceitful means. She's managed to frame him for the death of their child. Her child is in fact alive and well. They are in Cyprus.
You know that Jack and Tasha's baby survives, but you know Jack doesn't know. So that's the thing you're waiting for all the way through season two. So it's how and when is he going to find out? And you know there's going to be fireworks when he does.
Now he has come out of prison, he acknowledges that he's done something wrong, he wants to make everything right, and he wants to get back with the love of his life, his ex-wife, Jen.
Jen is obviously not the same person we saw at the end of season one, for obvious reasons in many ways, because obviously I'm a completely different actress. But also, having been through the trauma of the relationship with Jack and then everything that happened in season one, we're now 3 years on and she's trying to sort of mend everything, move on from it, become a different person, deal with everything that's happened. But I think the reality about Jen is that she hasn't actually dealt with anything.
In season one, it was all about Jen. It was all about finding baby to do with Jen. And in season two, it's exactly the same. Get back to Jen because, and this is again an indication of the type of guy he is, she will be better with him. She'll be happier with him and he'll provide a life for her that no one else can.
Jen has identified that Jack is narcissistic and toxic and manipulative and all of those things. And she knows that about him and knows that that's not what she wants. And she's found Connor, who is, you know, the complete opposite. He's a gentleman and he's kind. And, you know, they sort of refer to it in the script quite a lot of him being safe.
He has a very strong relationship with Jen. I think they match up in many different ways, and I think they're a perfect couple in many respects. Intellectually, Jen understands that Connor's probably a wonderful match, but there's something sort of quite animalistic that keeps pulling her back to Jack.
It's like being a drug addict and you know something's bad for you and you just keep going back to it even though you know it's bad. And like Jack is her drug.
What I was really interested in exploring is the way that, you know, the Hollywood ending of you escape the bad relationship and then you're done and you're out is not a reality. It's too clean.
Tasha's moved on and she finds herself in a whole different place and is questioning all her actions now and why she's done what she's done and is it the right thing and how does she move forward from here?
Why couldn't we make it work? You know, like he loved Jen. Why didn't he love me? Even though he kind of revealed himself, there's still a part of her that's like, was that inevitable? And then why did I fall for it? Like, what kind of mug am I? Did I have it written on my head?
Sam is greatly frustrated by the decisions that Tasha has made. Being that he believes he can offer an opportunity for some semblance of stability, family. Well, the thing that's charming about Sam is that his heart is definitely in the right place, in that he has a particular fixation on being a parent. Maybe that fixation clouds his judgment, or being a bit tone deaf with Tasha as a character.
Sam, we didn't work before. There's no reason that we'd work now.
I was as good as a dad to that girl
For 2 years, all right? I can't just forget that.
Ever since season 1, where he was convinced that this child might have even been his, he seemed to have this desire to be a good dad. And, you know, you can't knock anyone for wanting to be a good dad.
I think the fun thing with Jack is how mercurial he is. You have to never really know what's going on in his head. But for me, he's the hero of the piece. He's the goodie. He's the perfect dad.
He's incredibly adept at finding the way to make her doubt herself.
He is a textbook narcissist, so charming when he wants to be, and just pulls you in and pushes all your buttons and says all the right things. And even though you know he's wrong for you and you're like, you're bad, he comes back and he says the right things again, and he can just pull you back in.
He is someone who's incredibly controlling to a pathological degree.
You don't really see the tiny little drips from an abuser that eventually build up and overflow. There's nothing blatant or explicit about Jack as an abuser, because he doesn't believe that he is. But seeing the effect that he has on the two women, it's a really important thing to explore.
When you've been through something that Tasha and Jen have been through, I think you're sort of bonded for life. There's no way you can get beyond it. You have a shared experience. And then also on top of that, you have the added fact that Jen is keeping a secret for Tasha.
Be careful.
It's always such a treat when you finally get the script, and everything that you'd been expecting in your head from hearing things before suddenly is there in the page with added extras. All you want to do is just dive in.
Paul's wonderful. What's amazing about Paul is Paul gives you free rein to do whatever you want, but he's very present to be there if you need anything. Little tweaks here and there, like I trust him implicitly. I think his direction is concise and extremely on point.
It can be really damaging to a show when you've got a director who, for example, doesn't really appreciate actors' inputs. It's nice to be respected and not just treated like a prop.
I think essentially if you can give an actor confidence to explore and to take risks, then I think the effects and the results are going to be greater for everyone.
But also to know when you've got a big ship to sail, to have someone who can steer it well. And he's so on top of things.
Editorially, visually, he knows exactly how he's going to shoot something before he turns upon set. He communicates it to everybody. He's not scared of discussing anything that might be difficult with any crew member. He's very inclusive, very clear, very good direction.
Fully motivating the crew. And one of the most important things for him is that the set has to be a happy set. That you can't do your best work unless you're in a joyful environment. And so he really works at that. But then you also know that every single question that any department could have, he's got the answer for.
If you give the team the information that they need, they will do their utmost to deliver what you want to achieve. And that's because they're not working in the dark. You know, they've been informed and they want to deliver. They want to do a good job. And with the Cypriot team that we had, they were absolutely superb.
It makes you want to work even harder. It makes you not do mistakes because you don't want to do a mistake that will affect Paul in this case, because he's been so nice to every department and so adaptable to every department that you just want to do your job as best as you can.
It would bring a smile to my face watching the Cypriot team. I mean, they were so hard-working, and they rose to the occasion and delivered.
Everybody on set, to bring their creativity to what they're doing, they need to feel that they have the freedom to ask questions or ask if they can do it again. We all do our best work when we feel free to be creative.
The producer, director of photography, production designer, costume designer, makeup designer, the whole team have got to gel, and they've got to gel very quickly. And we were very lucky in that it did. You know, all the HODs were superb.
Different languages, different ways of working, different knowledge. So it needs an adaptation time to actually get together and figure out, okay, this is how the way we work, this is how you work. But it didn't take long. I mean, everyone was very excited to be here. We were very excited to have them here, so it all worked very smoothly.
The local crews are great. I mean, they're very experienced. As a production designer, it's just completely new visuals, new aesthetic. It's looking at different things. It's talking to the locals and finding out what is a typical Cypriot this or a typical Cypriot that, because I have no idea. So I've got to take the steer from a lot of people, really.
Shooting in Cyprus has been great. We've had some amazing locations. It looks epic. I think the challenges were we have half the series still set in London and we weren't doing any shooting in London. And so trying to find exteriors for London was difficult here. So some things we've moved interior.
Myself and the DP, Mayo, came up with a great idea that, you know, when we were inside, we try and keep away from direct light. Anything that was London, we made it soft and a little bit cooler as well.
All the English locations would have net curtains up and heavily draped windows, would be colder in colour, and all the Cypriot locations would have hard shadows through the windows and much warmer.
That Cypriot sun, there's something about it. It gives that lovely kind of golden feel to it, even in the shadows.
And the light is amazing, though. I mean, so you know, you want to lean into that when we're supposed to be in Cyprus, and it's supposed to be sunny and an oppressive heat sometimes. And you know, sort of we've used that, and it's been really useful. It's just quite difficult to work in that heat all the time.
We had a time scale which was very, very, very tight. It meant we had no option than to shoot it in the height of summer.
The heat is a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge. But anything you don't have to act, anything that you get for free is kind of great.
What did they say that one day, wasn't it 45 degrees one day on set? They got up to nearly 45 degrees. And I was asking the crew, I was like, guys, how hot does it have to be before they stop working? And they're like, hotter than this.
Is it challenging? Yeah, of course. Probably more challenging for the crew lugging huge equipment.
We lost equipment on a regular basis. Every other day we were losing equipment due to the heat. Monitors, I went through, you know, about maybe 3 or 4 monitors.
Things react differently, paint reacts differently. It's just a very, very different, you've got to adapt to the temperature, really. That's the hardest thing.
Kim, producer, made sure she was very, very diligent about making sure we had, you know, breaks constantly to make sure we were topping up on our water constantly. I mean, the amount of water that we drank through the day was ridiculous.
It's suffocating but useful.
I quite enjoyed the quarry. I think it must be my middle-class masochism that I loved it.
It looks amazing. It just looks amazing. Because of these structures, you had beautiful shafts of light, blisteringly hot dust, which was extremely fine. And because it was extremely fine, it would kick up. It made for a great sequence.
This is the sort of thing that when you're a kid thinking about being an actor, it's about going into these amazing locations and running around and jumping in sand. That's what it's about, really, isn't it? Not character depth.
As soon as you see the word stunt, you suddenly go, oh my God, that's going to take me 3 times longer than I know I've got to shoot it. So you make sure that you've got the right team around you. Laszlo, our stunt coordinator, was superb in that respect. He's very, very experienced. They rehearse and rehearse and rehearse that and slowly build it up. We had 2 fantastic doubles. Between us, we worked out what elements the stunt team could do and what elements the real actors could do. You tend to play the stunt doubles on slightly wider shots and they do the big action, if you like, and then the actors repeat that and we go closer. And we just do it in little tiny elements and then stitch it together and you'd never know it's seamless.
I think what it does is it starts on a level of tension and it just keeps going and ramping up.
They're in for an exciting, explosive, dramatic ride.
It's going to surprise you and it's going to excite you.
And when you think it's over, it's not over. There's another twist.